Welcome to Apartment Theater, part 4 of the Gator Croc Month thing. We're not really
I'll
sure.
get your gator. Wait, no, that doesn't
Oh,
make sense.
baby, don't let them gators get you. That's actually
Hey.
a inside joke between my brother and I because we went to a destruction derby thing, very
Oh, nice.
redneck, and it was a great time. There's a lot of dirt. There was these
Mhm.
redneck dudes though that were behind us. They were drunk off their ass,
Mhm.
and there was different signs that they were seeing. Like he saw the Dodge sign.
Mhm.
He's like, "What does Dodge mean? Dodge the dirt?" And it's just the Dodge, like the car manufacturer.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then we're drinking Gatorade, and then one of them taps my shoulder, is like, "Don't let them Gators get you." And we still quote it because it's still one of the funniest things that's ever happened to us. Because we're like, "What the fuck
What?
was this night?
Yeah,
It was
what?
so weird."
That
Ah,
sounds insane to me.
I bought some sunglasses, goggles too
Mhm.
to wear,
Yeah.
where because dirt was flying in my eyes, and I had $10, and I was like,
Mhm.
"I'll buy these goggles." Let me tell you, pussy repellent.
Oh, I
It
bet.
was it it looked so stupid, but I was like, I'm just glad I don't have dirt in my eyes anymore.
Gomez.
I can't see him.
Oh,
It's darkness.
just a little bit of void was wandering around back there. Oh, there he goes.
I figured it was like a ghost.
It's ghost. It's a
Yeah.
ghost. It's a spooky ghost.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
uh,
so this part. So real quick, Cass, cuz the last episode it was just Danny and I.
it was, and now I'm
So
back, and I've
yeah,
replaced Danny. Danny and I are actually the same person. That's why we can't
so
be in the podcast together anymore.
see, I was gonna say that Danny went to a hotel and got eaten by a crocodile, so we're kind of just waiting for
Yeah, we're
nature to
waiting for
take its
that.
course
Yeah.
so that she can be reincarnated,
Yeah. Oh, I. Okay. Yeah.
or she just is a pile of shit. And she just
She just gets shit out, and then Danny reforms.
yeah, she's kind of
And
like the liquid Terminator thing. Like
yeah,
she's kind of just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't
So
happen in Terminator, but that's what was missing in the sequels.
that's what was missing was
Yeah,
liquid
him
shit
getting yeah.
reconstituting into a person.
Oh fuck! Get James Cameron on the phone. I got an idea.
Got an idea, James. Let's go.
Listen,
Brilliant.
James. Can I call you
$100 million
James?
idea. Let's
I
go.
know how to reboot this.
I know how to do this. Uh,
Um,
yeah.
so can you
Eaten
give your?
alive.
Oh, I was gonna say, can you give your quick synopsis, or not your synopsis? Can you give us your quick review on Crawl
Oh,
and Blackwater?
I have to remember which one is which. Oh, wait. I. Okay, so
Crawl was the more recent one.
Crawl was the more recent one. Blackwater, stupid. Really annoying. Every character in it, I wanted to punch in the face and drown. Half the time, I didn't understand why anybody was doing anything. Um, and I'm like, for Australians who are like, maybe you should know how to deal with this and like go fishing. It seems somewhat regularly. You should probably know how to handle yourselves in these situations, but
They
you're
don't.
just dumb.
Yeah.
Terrible movie. I started out liking Crawl.
Same.
I
So did
liked I liked the concept of it. Um, Hilarious and real weird watching a movie about a hurricane hitting Florida
I. Yeah. Yeah.
right now. That was a lot. I'm like, I don't live in Florida, so good luck,
That
everybody.
would.
Um, but so they're in the like crawl space or whatever under the house, and I'm
That time I
like,
heard him.
yeah. And somehow it wasn't flooded yet, and I'm like, some of the streets are already starting to get flooded. Like that crawl space would absolutely already be flooded.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Um,
was. Yeah.
so that was like kind of frustrating to me, but I was like, okay, benefit of the doubt here, like maybe something's happening, some pump or whatever, that it's not causing that. I mean, they're like evacuating people, and storm hasn't like fully hit yet, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. I do think it's dumb that she like went into the evacuation zone or whatever, but she had to get her daddy. So I do kind of get that actually. But I I weirdly like the concept of there being gators like stuck in the crawl space and it just being this really awful situation that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Cuz this feels like a dumb thing that could happen.
Yeah.
And
it felt like it got sillier, but not like in a fun way. Kind of like,
yeah.
Okay, this is just kind of stupid.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this would be like a legitimate kind of terrifying experience to like go down into your crawl space and there's just a fucking gator hanging out there for who knows what reason. And then for some reason they have like a sewage tunnel that like is big enough for the gators to like fit in their crawl space, and I was like, oh, that sounds dumb.
Okay. See, I was saying, so anyone that's listening, so this is what I was saying in the previous episode. Danny didn't think so, but I was thinking that honestly, the layout of the crawl space didn't make any sense.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
Not to me. I was like,
how
I don't.
Was there a gator nest down there?
Yeah. I didn't.
I was confused of where we were even at in the crawl space.
Yeah, so was I, because it looked like part of the like crawl space wall, like under the road or something, had like been busted out, and that's where like the like sewer pipe or whatever was. I just did not understand it. Maybe that's because I don't own a house in Florida. Thankfully. So I like it was just kind of weird. It was really funny to me when they get out of the house finally, and they're like, we got to get into that like little boat over there, that motorboat, whatever. Yeah. They get into the boat, and immediately they get pushed back into the house from the rising floodwaters immediately. And I was like, that's funny. I was like, that's so dumb, but that's so funny.
Yeah, nobody should have survived.
They're just constantly trying to get out of the house. I do not understand how either of them survived that situation. Why were there so many gators? I just want to know. What are they doing? I understand that they're probably confused because hurricane. What do gators do? From what I understand, most wild animals, like, they kind of know that, like, shit's going down. And, like, aquatic animals just go, like, as deep as they can. Or just, like, hunker down somewhere. They're not, like, feasting and throwing a party in the streets like these guys literally were.
Maybe they should have.
Yeah. Maybe they should have. I don't know. I don't know what happens. Like, I wanted to, like, crawl. And then I just didn't.
Yeah. Every movie so far that we've watched, I'm like, okay, well, this could be okay. And then it hits the oh no point.
Oh no, yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Oh no, this is bad.
And then it just tumbles down. And it's like, the same thing happens with books too. Like, I'll hit like a point where I'm like, oh no, this is getting bad now. This is getting, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I know that it can come off as like just like me being like really pessimistic about things, and like I get it, I can be really negative, and I try my best not to. Like I want to genuinely like everything that we watch, but it's funny, I was saying this in the last episode with Danny. What happened to us saying we were going to watch good movies? We've only been watching dog shit.
We've only been watching terrible movies.
Like, we didn't even watch like one of the biggest horror movies of the year so far. Like,
which one?
The Substance. We haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it though. That's the next couple episodes. We're gonna watch The Substance. So, and I've been talking about it, and I'm excited. So. Yeah,
I did watch Late Night with the Devil, and I was.
Oh yeah, I'll have to switch it to something else. I need to watch it for myself, but
I'll keep my opinion to myself right now.
So, I was thinking we're gonna get into Eaten Alive. I promise. I just wanted
We
to
are.
state. I wanted to say
Um,
real quick because we're behind the scenes. We're missing an episode. So what I was thinking was we can do an end of the year episode where we talk about we have like a 10 favorite movies that came out this year that we didn't
oh, that's a
cover
good
on the
idea.
podcast.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just because so we have something that
Yeah, do.
just to talk about.
Yeah,
So
I'm into it.
yeah.
Anyway, so Eaten
Let's talk
Alive.
about Eaten Alive, directed by Tobe
I
Hooper.
was eaten alive while watching this movie.
Nice.
And not in a fun way.
Oh,
Yeah.
what happened?
It's the movie. The movie happened. I was
So-
eaten alive by weird disappointment.
So Tobe Hooper directed this. If you don't know, he's also the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
I didn't know that.
and I felt
And then
like
I
it
was
really
told.
showed.
It did. It really did. After I found that out, I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense.
He also directed Poltergeist. So- And this movie called Life Force, where it's about alien vampires. You would think it'd be really awesome.
It's not. Oh,
No, it's no. But there is some really nice
Damn.
moves in it. But yeah, there's some weird stuff in that movie. Honestly, he's a weird dude. Rest in peace, Tobe Hooper. I didn't know he died, but he died
Oh.
like 7 years ago. But
Oh, shit.
I mean, he
Okay.
was an old guy. He lived a good
Yeah.
life. So
Yeah, he made some
Uh,
baller movies, made
he
some
ma-
shit movies, but hey, not all art is good.
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So Eaten Alive, meet the maniac and his friend, a psychotic redneck who owns a dilapidated hotel in the backwater swamps of Louisiana.
Mhm.
Kills various people who upset him or his business, and he feeds their bodies to a large crocodile that he keeps as a pet in the swamp beside his hotel. First off,
He kills
um,
everybody.
he not everybody. He gets lost in the woods at one point, and then some people do escape.
Oh,
Yeah,
good for them.
yeah. It was towards the end. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
So, fun fact: Robert Englund's in this movie. He's the
Yep.
guy who plays Freddy Krueger.
Hmm.
He plays a piece of shit.
He does.
I would
Who is really hankering for some anal?
He's really SA-ing people.
He really is.
There's a lot of SA at the beginning of this movie. And
Yeah,
it's really
I,
uncomfortable.
it's really uncomfortable. I'm like, wow, what a way to start a movie. This is
yeah,
awful.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah. Well, after that, I felt like it got fun, but before that, it was like, oh no.
Yeah, it starts with a very oh no. I feel like honestly you could probably skip that entire scene and the movie would still be the same.
Yes.
Like you could literally skip the first 10 minutes
Yeah. This is,
and the movie
this
would
is
be
a
the exact same.
sleazy movie.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
movie
for
is
sure.
grimy and disgusting. Like all the sets have
Mhm.
a thick layer of filth. on
Yeah,
it, like an
it's
actually
gross.
lived in filth. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of recent horror movies, and I'm not saying that all horror movies do this, but like anytime they're like it's I felt like especially during like the more gory era of
Mhm.
horror movies. I guess it depends on when you feel like it ended sometimes. I don't know.
Mhm.
But they always kind of look like the same kind of dirty.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, here's some like poop smeared on the wall kind of
Mhm.
look to it. Where this
Mhm.
was like, this place just looks disgusting. Like it
Yeah.
looks like there's roaches and bed bugs in this place.
Mhm. Yeah, it looks like it's been here a while.
But yeah, no. So I would say I didn't hate this movie.
Yeah.
I was definitely.
It was real goofy.
It was pretty fucking weird.
It was
but
real goofy. I
it-
loved his stupid ass scythe.
I did too.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Shouldn't have worked, but
It
did.
shouldn't have worked, but it did. It was just it was great. It was such a bizarre, weird, pseudo, kind of pornographic slasher movie. Because I mean, the
Yeah.
70s.
We got the iconic line of "I'm not cut out to be a whore."
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it was just a goofy, silly movie with uh, lots of screaming,
Lots of red.
lots of red.
It looks like an Italian horror movie.
It does, yeah.
Like it kind of looks like Suspiria, but
Mm-hmm.
with crocodiles and
With
prostitutes.
Crocs. I do like that the Croc is clearly a puppet,
Yeah.
obviously. But we don't get such a good look at it that it's so painfully obvious that it's a puppet. Like, you know it's a puppet because it's the 70s and, like, clearly it's a
There-
puppet.
Yeah,
But,
there's some cool shots like when he's in
yeah.
the water, and like you can see the water like go across its
Mhm.
back, and it's dark
Mhm.
too, so you can't really see.
Yeah. So I feel
Um,
like they used some practical effects to their advantage in this movie. Certainly some of the deaths were very creative and
Sight through the neck.
Scythe Through the Next, that's my favorite one. Was kind of fantastic. It was hilarious and fantastic at the same time. um
It
I
was very polarizing for
It
me.
was.
I'm like on the one hand, I'm like, this movie's not necessarily good.
No,
I
no.
was definitely entertained. This has been the best Gator
Yeah.
movie we watched so far.
Oh, for
which
sure.
isn't saying much. But
Yeah. Like it was certainly a strange comedy of sorts to watch. And not comedy in like a campy Evil Dead sort of way, but a comedy in just like it's ridiculous.
the dog getting eaten.
And
looked
it's
so fucking funny. Like,
oh my god, I know.
cracked up.
Like,
Especially because like the little girl, like it's so fucked up that I laugh at this.
yeah.
But like the little girl runs in after the dog because the
Mhm.
dog gets into the gate where the crocodile is,
Yeah.
and which I was like, man, I'm surprised that crocodile didn't just get out from that.
I
giant
know,
dog.
right?
But yeah, she tries to go in, and it's this huge splash, and just grabs the fucking dog, and I'm like, oh my
I
god!
love it.
And the
And-
kid's screaming and trying to climb out.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Oh my god.
It's funny because the Gator's not really like the villain. It's kind of
No.
just there.
It's kind of just there. He's just chilling. He's just being a gator. He's doing what he does. Our real villain is Judd, who's ex-military and going through something.
PTSD.
PTSD and so many other things. He
Yeah.
doesn't like anybody
Yeah.
except for maybe Buck, but I don't know why he likes Buck.
I don't.
He at least like tolerates him and hasn't killed him yet. But he seems to
Yeah.
only kill like people who are passing through the town.
I mean,
You know,
tourists suck. So,
tourists kind of suck.
Yeah. Also, he hates whores, so he doesn't
Yeah.
want any. Because he was kicked out of the whorehouse for
Yeah.
being weird.
For
which
being
it
weird,
wasn't
which
really- wasn't surprising.
no. Because what did she say? He would just talk to the girls
Yeah.
He would just pay and talk to him
shit to
and just say weird things, and I'm like, oh, he was lonely. I'm like, why does
Yeah.
it matter? You were getting paid. Who gives a shit?
I think after a certain point,
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, it's too much.
it's kind of like that Green Day song where you know your whining is bringing me down.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had girls unmatch me from Hinge when they're like, what do you like? Because they would be like, what do you feel like's not going right in your life? And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll tell you. And they unmatch for me. I'm like, all right, well, okay.
Oh, the
Cool.
harsh truth. Oh my goodness.
Honestly, I don't blame them. If someone sent me a paragraph, I'd be like, yeah, fuck off. But yeah, so there's a very like stylistic choice to this. There's a lot of
For
fog.
sure. There's a lot of fog. Yeah.
fog. It's very campy in that aspect.
Mhm.
Of, like they turn up the schlock by a lot.
Yes.
There's so much goofy
Mhm.
shit. There were points where I felt like they could have gone for it even harder.
Mhm.
So he at one point like there's like so the gator takes out part of like this like balcony part,
Mhm. It's like a dock or something. I don't know.
and it's before Robert Englund's character dies.
Yeah.
It's a different character, and he's kind of like hanging by it. And I was in my head, I was like, hey, "Dude, if he runs up and just straight up drop kicks him into the crocodile pit, this will be the best movie I've ever seen." And unfortunately, he didn't do it. But I was like, "God damn it! I hate that." I'm like, "Man, this would be fucking cool." They just drop kick him.
Yeah.
God,
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah, at times, like, because you'd see like the red coming in through the windows, and it kind of
Yeah.
looked like you were on Mars.
A little bit. Apparently using red outdoor lights is very popular in Louisiana because it helps keep the like bugs away from the area, or it doesn't attract bugs, but then you can still see at night. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Hey, also, I like to just point out too. I like that this movie's not set in Australia or Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was set in Louisiana.
yeah, we're stuck in the bayous.
Mhm.
Sucks.
Yeah. it does.
Louisiana looks terrible.
But there's
I
like
don't want to be there.
no southern accents except for like one in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
like,
I mean-
where are all the southern accents at?
I mean, it's kind of like us. Like we don't have like a super Midwest accent thing, except for if we say like four.
Far.
Yeah. Or yeah.
Yeah.
What's that for? Like that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But it's like
Yeah.
it's not super. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
true.
I think it varies, but
It does.
but
I guess it depends on what part of Louisiana they were in.
yeah. Did we explain anything that happens in this movie yet? Like what?
No, it's a slasher movie. People die. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
so,
gator
like,
in
one
there.
of- yeah, so there's a guy who's looking for his daughter who was eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the piece of shit Robert Englund character. He gets eaten, and
Mhm.
then nothing happens to the croc. That's pretty
No.
awesome. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's cool.
Like, oh, we don't shoot him. It's like, dude, he's not doing anything wrong. He's going off
Mhm.
instinct.
Yeah, he's just living his life
Yeah. Oh, and then we have the little girl that's crawling around under the
under the house. Yeah.
because because also because I have to point this out.
Yes.
What the fuck was wrong with that dad character? The one
I
that
don't
was, like, freaking the
know.
fuck out.
He was losing it.
So I don't know what was the point of any of it for
Mm-mm.
these two characters, but like the dad, the younger dad that came in with his wife and the
Mhm.
daughter, and the dog that gets eaten.
Yeah.
So the kid freaks out naturally because I mean,
Mhm.
fuck, that's traumatizing.
Right. Yeah.
But so I was like, man, she's wearing such an obvious wig, and then she
Mhm.
takes off the wig and shows
And
her real hair, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what were you wearing a wig for?
I don't know.
Do we find out? Did I
No.
miss that?
I don't think we do.
It was so fucking weird.
It was like I have no idea what is going on with those two characters. I don't know if it was super common for women to like wear wigs in the 70s.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
have
feel like
no
70s. That's like
idea.
Farrah Fawcett hair, right? Like I feel
Yeah.
like that was like the thing. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We don't have anyone that's older than us that we're really friends with, so
Yeah, no.
we could ask our parents, but
Yeah. mhm.
but yeah, that's really about it that happens in the movie. Like there's not
Yeah.
a whole lot of plot. There is
No.
definitely a while where you're kind of just sitting around
Yeah.
waiting.
Waiting for some. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just watching
waiting.
characters go insane.
So this dad
whatever.
character though, yeah, he like just starts freaking out,
Mm-hmm.
and he like what are you doing to me? And he just puts out his hand and curls into a fist, and it looks like he's gonna punch her or something, and he just starts sweating really bad, and then
Mm-hmm.
he just starts freaking out, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on?
No idea. And like everyone is constantly telling everyone to calm down in this
Yes.
movie.
No one is
My-
calm.
My favorite thing is that like eventually there's a cop character that shows up and he's talking to the older father who's like looking for his missing daughter, and he's like, simmer down now, And I'm like, I have not
Yes.
heard this phrase in so long.
My
I'm
dad
like,
tells me that.
simmer down. I
He's
love
like,
it.
simmer down now. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to do what?
I'm supposed to do one though. I'm bringing it
was in
back. I'm
a,
gonna bring that saying back.
it was a, it was a saying that we heard in a different horror movie that we watched. It was, or not that we watched the podcast. It's something I
Mm-hmm.
watched growing up. It was Tarantula, and yeah, the cop character also went now simmer down now, and I was
Simmer
like,
down
Dad,
now.
he said your thing.
You said it.
He said the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, simmer down now.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was great.
I felt like I could definitely tell this was directed by the same guy who did
Texas?
Chainsaw Massacre.
Absolutely.
He even does like the little shimmy thing that Leatherface does, like when he's doing this like one of the scythe kills. Like he holds the scythe like above his head, and he does like a little shimmy back and forth.
Oh yeah.
thing. And I'm like,
Huh.
that's what Leatherface does in the movie.
Interesting. I haven't watched Texas in a long time, so I
Yeah.
need to watch it again.
That is also a very sweaty, grimy movie. Everybody
It is.
they had a bad time making that movie. Like,
Oh
I think,
yeah.
I think like most of the cast members hated each other too.
Oh,
Like you could
yeah.
tell that they were just sick of each other.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
also had like a tiny budget too, so not really surprising. But it's a very like there's a good not good atmosphere. Like it has good atmosphere to it, but
Yeah.
it has a good sense of dread
Yeah.
to it.
It does.
And yeah, that house is disgusting.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
now like oh my god. But yeah, no, he also did the sequel too, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That's a wildly different movie too. Like it's like tonally like completely like flipped around. Like it's fucking bananas is what it is. And I highly
fucking
recommend
bananas.
anyone to watch it too.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the rare horror movie sequels where I'm like, okay, I'm about as entertained as like the last one too. But yeah, no, I don't think that this is Tobe Hooper's best movie. I mean, he directed Poltergeist, which is one of the greatest movies
Yeah.
ever made.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that. I mean, to have at least two iconic
Yeah. Movies.
monoliths
Yeah.
of horror. I mean,
Yeah. It's kind of
oh no,
insane.
it didn't stack up to those. Well, yeah, I mean, how could you?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Because Poltergeist. When was Poltergeist made? 80s?
that was like in the 80s. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because Texas was 80s as well, right?
No,
Or-
that was in the 70s.
That was in the 70s? Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I'm thinking of the remake or whatever.
I think it was 74.
Yeah.
Remake for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one with Jessica Biel, was in 2003.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there was one in between that though.
I mean, there's a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacres in between those.
True. Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's more that came out after, and they're not.
And they're not
it's
good.
all bad.
Thanks, Ed Gein.
Yay! What a
Yay.
guy.
Real serial killer guy.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I hate that like people will treat serial killers as like a horror
Like celebrities.
icon. And it's like
It creeps
guys,
me out.
they're
No.
not fictional characters. These are real people.
These
You're
are real people
celebrating-
who did really horrible things.
Yeah, like you're celebrating a bad person. Like maybe don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's gross. Don't idolize terrible people.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, but I mean that's just like my whole rant on like true crime in general. It's like
Yeah.
this is fucked. But
Mhm.
anyway, yeah. So this movie, I would say that if you're into like, I know it's not an Italian horror movie,
Mhm.
which reminds me, there's another movie called Eaten Alive, and I'm glad that I at least like said something. I put the year in the Discord just to make
Yeah.
sure, but I almost forgot that there was two different ones.
Mhm.
And I was like, wait a minute, this is an Italian horror movie. We're not. No, this one has a
No.
crocodile in it.
This
Like,
one has a crocodile in it.
and then I looked it up. I'm like, oh my fucking god!
Yeah,
These
there's two
movies
of
are
them.
4 years apart,
Yeah.
but they're two different movies. One's about a gate, well, kind of about a crocodile, but the other one's about cannibals. And I remember, wait a minute, I think we were gonna watch it for the cannibal month, and then we didn't.
Yeah. Both of them are on Tubi though.
They are, which makes it even more confusing.
Yeah, it does. Sure does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if you see one with a scythe and a gator, that's the one that we watched.
that's
If
the one
it's
that we watched.
someone that looks like they're gonna get their head chopped off, that's not
Yeah.
the one we watched.
No.
Though I do want to watch it anyway because
Yeah.
why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like maybe a good time. Or maybe a bad time. Who knows?
I mean,
I don't know. All of the other cannibal movies we watched were a bad time, so.
Yeah, I think
In various ways.
there was two, like, I think we didn't like necessarily enjoy Cannibal Holocaust,
No.
but we
It
weren't
was
like
real
this is the worst movie.
uncomfortable.
It was, if anything, it was like, okay, I get what they're doing. I don't like what they're doing, but
Yeah.
like, it's still an interesting movie to experience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we liked Cannibal Apocalypse because it was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
But
Anyway.
But yeah, do we recommend to eat? I recommend Eaten Alive.
I recommend it just because it's campy and
Yeah,
silly and whatever. Just skip past the first 10 minutes. You don't need it. It's not. It doesn't add anything to the story other than cementing the fact that Buck is a douchebag and a piece of shit.
Yeah. Also,
But you get that from the rest of the movie anyway, so.
I like how some of these older horror movies will just straight up destroy the sets.
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, God, I think there's just something so archaic
Mm-hmm.
about that. Like, just seeing them, like, they're actually destroying shit. Like,
Yeah.
that was been my biggest issues with some of these, like, the other horror movies that we've been watching.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much, like, CGI and shit. Like, with
Yeah.
Crawl, I was like, dude, this is, like, 90% CGI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, this looks like shit. And I'm like, yeah, I can tell that they're not actually, like, breaking anything. I mean, you don't have to break it. But, like, it looked like they were actually somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look like, oh, yeah, we just green screened everything. Like, no,
Yeah.
this looks like you're actually at
Yeah.
a weird place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I call me old fashioned, but we need more weird places to film in.
We do need more weird places to film in.
Yeah.
I
like,
agree.
I mean, there are some, like, recent horror movies and stuff, too.
Yeah.
I feel like the Green Room is another disgusting looking movie that is filmed in, like, a real place.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's a great one. See, because, like, I feel like I feel like I diss every movie. I love that we actually liked a movie for once.
Right?
That's what
Actually
I want.
kind
I
of
mean,
enjoyed it.
I mean, like, we can't like every movie
No.
that comes out. That would
No.
just get boring. But
It would.
But it also gets kind of tedious where you're like, well, this movie was just like, you don't even have anything to rant on. It's like, this
Yeah.
movie was just boring.
It's just bad.
Yeah, but this movie that we watched, it was a good time.
Yeah. It was
like, I
fun.
gave it like a 3 out of 5. Like, it's a good time. Like,
Yeah.
it's not the best movie you can watch, but
No.
if you have friends that want to watch it with you, I think you'll have a good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perusing this one. We have one more Gator movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's the mecca of alligator movies.
I hope so.
So
I don't think it's gonna be
alligator-
good, but
yeah, I mean, oh, real quick too. I want to
Yeah.
say I like that this movie was not a Jaws ripoff like the other ones.
yeah.
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 Like this felt unique.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't cuz like in Lake Placid, is it a gator or a croc in that one? I can't remember.
Well, what we learned in Eaten Alive is that if they're fast on land, it's a crocodile.
Did we learn that?
He says that. Yeah, he's like, alligators are
Ah,
slow,
okay.
but crocodiles are fast.
But
He's
crocs
like,
are
they can
fast.
outrun a horse.
Oh,
That's what it says.
maybe. Maybe in the 70s. They grow them different now.
Crocodiles were on cocaine back then.
Maybe. I mean, the sharks are on cocaine now, so fuck it.
Yeah.
No, in Lake Placid, the gator in that is kind of like a pet to Betty White, right?
I forgot Betty White was in
I
that.
know.
Wasn't it like a super gator though? Like, wasn't
Yes,
like, huge?
it was like a huge super gator type thing, mutant, whatever. And I like that this was just a regular fucking gator that's in Louisiana that he's keeping in a swamp, or it's just staying in the swamp because he keeps feeding it. Like, I kind of liked that. I was like, okay. I'm like, this makes sense at least.
Do huge bodies of water freak you out?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, like
A
I
little bit.
remember Ashton and I when we were together, like
Mm-hmm.
we went to this random lake thing.
Mm-hmm.
I quickly found out that I can't swim very well.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm used to a
Oh,
pool.
sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was like it wasn't like a incline of like, okay, it's gonna get deeper now. It's like no,
Oh, yeah.
like the moment you walk in, like you could die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember just being like looking and seeing like the mountains and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks cool, but it also was kind of freaking me out a
Yeah.
little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, oh my god, this giant thing is here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, we had kind of like some people would argue with us that it was a pond. We were told it was a lake down at the farm. It was like 2 acres or whatever, but I think at its deepest point was like 12 to 16 feet or something, depending on how high the water was. And it didn't get like scum and stuff on the top of it the way typical ponds do.
yeah.
But yeah, like I grew up swimming in that for a long time and was fine with that. And then at some point I ended up in like a Cabela's or like a Bass Pro or something like that where they have the snapping turtles like in the tanks, and I learned that the snapping turtles like hang out underwater with their mouth open like waiting for fish to come by, and they close. And I was like, and I knew we had snapping turtles down at the farm, and
Nope.
and I was like, nope, I can't do it now.
Nope.
Like
I'm good.
because I can't see where the rest of my body is.
Can't see what you're snapping.
Yeah, and like because it was shortly, or it was around the same time that like my uncle had gone down there to go fishing or something, and he had accidentally pulled up a snapping turtle because he had like caught the fish that like ended up the snapping turtle was like eating. And so like the snapping turtle was on the deck or the dock with him and like wouldn't leave him alone and like just turn and go the other way. Like it kept coming after him, and my uncle had to shoot it. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like it kept coming after him.
They can rip your foot off, can't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
They can bite through like a 6-inch tree, like circumference or something like that, like however big it is, like they can bite through a lot. They have an extremely strong bite force. They are terrifying. No thank you. Also, alligator snapping turtles exist. Even more terrifying.
I'm just imagining it's a turtle, but it has a big alligator head.
They have like little alligator spikes on their shell and on their tails and stuff.
Oh no.
You should look them up. But we have those down at the farm too, and I'm like, So yeah, now I kind of have, I can't think about it a whole lot when I go swimming in like unclear bodies of water. It kind of freaks me out a bit. I don't know. Like I can't think about it too much. I mean, for the most part, like most animals, if you're bigger than it, they're gonna avoid you. Like there had been times that I had been in the lake that like you could clearly see like a snake or something like coming through the water, and it would just like there was like at one point it like had kind of started swimming towards us, and then like we like made noise and ripples, and it was like fuck that, like swam away.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, lakes for sure are like no, I'm not going in it at all. I don't like that. I can't like I don't want to feel anything in water.
No, and like the fish would bite you in the lake too. If you weren't in constant movement, the fish would bite you. They'd be like, "What are you?" And then they just give them come give a little nibble. Oh yeah.
fuck that. Nope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nope. I
Yeah.
would be bolting out of that water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a
Um,
dead fish touch me in the river, and I was like, absolutely not, never again. Yeah,
That's
that was
fair. That's a-
horrifying.
yeah,
I
no.
had nightmares of that for years.
Oh, I'm sure. It's
yeah,
awful.
yeah.
Do not recommend. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
So yeah, that's the episode, guys.
Yeah.
Watch
Do you
Eaten
go
Alive.
swimming on clear water?
Yeah, you can leave comments.
You can
Danny
leave
has
comments.
to approve the comments because they have the Spotify
Yeah.
stuff for it. But yeah, if you follow us on Spotify, leave a comment. Say how much you liked the episode, or you can leave a comment on our YouTube channel. You could be subscriber number 15
Thanks.
if you want.
If
That
you
would
want.
be cool.
It would be cool.
And if you want to check out other episodes, I highly recommend it. Download them because that's the only metric that I can see. It helps. It doesn't really do anything, but it kind of just gives me like a little dopamine kick of like, oh, cool, I'm doing something
does.
that hopefully someone likes.
We like
So do it for
dopamine.
my sanity. I spend money to keep these episodes up.
It's true.
Make
We
it
do.
worth my while. Besides us enjoying doing the show, but
Yeah.
give me that little dopamine hit, and
Yeah.
you know, let me get that.
Mm-hmm.
We want like 1,000 downloads. That would be awesome.
That'd be
We
cool.
have over 2,000 downloads altogether, but if we could get like a good 1,000 downloads, just get 10 of your friends download every single episode. You'll make us happy. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not. You get 10 friends, and then they get 10 friends. It's the best pyramid scheme because no one's getting ripped off.
Yeah, and you don't have to buy anything.
And if your internet's really fast, it only takes you like a couple seconds too to download them all.
Yeah.
So
Short little sweet episodes. It's great.
yeah, yeah.
It's a great time.
It's,
Anyway.
it's not as much as a commitment as some other podcasts because others are like 2.5 hours, and I feel like that's a big ask for a podcast that no one knows. So
Yeah.
if you have been listening to us for a while, thanks. Also, get the fuck out. Bye.
Get the fuck out.